As we head over to our Sounders-related news, the Sounders played only one match over the past week against Sporting Kansas City, and it was a pretty good one. On the 25th, the Sounders defeated the Sporting Kansas City 3-0. Two players of the game here for Jordan Morris had a goal, an assist, two big chances created, and an 8.7 match rating. At midfielder, Christian Roldan takes home player of the game number 2 with a goal and an assist as well, 3 chances created, as well as an 8.7 match rating, similar to Morris. This was a game where I believe I talked about it last week. Sporting's Tim Melia did the rock bottom on Christian Roldan. So kind of satisfying to see him get the goal and the assist there. And just the fact that Sporting has had Seattle's number in recent years. So it was good to have a nice 3-0 victory over them on the ABC stage on national television. So that was a nice match for Seattle. And then we get to the not so nice stuff with injury related news. On June 25th, it was announced that Obed Vargas, the young midfielder who has done a lot of great work for Seattle this season, has come and impressed a lot of folks, has a lower back injury, and that will take him out for a decent amount of time. There's no necessary time limit for that at the moment, but lower back injury, anything related to the back is serious business. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll continue to learn about timelines and such, but hopefully Obed gets better much sooner rather than later. And we can see him in the Rave Green hopefully later on this upcoming season, but we don't have any actual timeline on that. The rest of the injury report against Sporting KC, in addition to Vargas, Javier Arriaga and Raul Ruidiaz were out with a left hamstring strain. Both of them had that hamstring strain in their left leg, so they were both out against Sporting. And then Josh Atencio was out with health and safety protocols, and head coach Brian Schmetzer said that he will be out for a while, but Atencio was at Sounders training today, so it could be an indication, but I doubt we see him by Wednesday, Seattle's next match. Some injury updates that we got today, so no new injuries, thankfully. Everyone that played on Saturday in that match against Sporting should be good to go for Wednesday. Arriaga and Ruidiaz are out and unlikely for Toronto, which is another match that Seattle will play soon. But Schmetzer does expect to see both of those guys back for Seattle's July 9th match against Portland. In team-related notes, we have a couple things here. A trade, which is kind of funny, considering that the Sounders don't make that many trades, at least not in too many recent years. On the 22nd, the Sounders traded a 2022 international roster slot to Atlanta United for $175,000 in 2023 general allocation money. So just relating to the rain and what I said, I believe it was last week, anytime that a team acquires allocation money in the near future, expect there to be a move made. Am I expecting one to be made this year with Seattle? Not necessarily, simply because this is 2023 general allocation money, but I wouldn't be surprised if something happens. So keep that on a back burner if you may. On the 27th, it was announced that Christian Roldan was named to the MLS Team of the Week for his performance, and Jordan Morris was named as an honorable mention. So congratulations to those two. On the league notes side of things, a fire caused an MLS match to be postponed. The California Clasico between the Galaxy and the San Jose Earthquakes was rescheduled to September because of a power outage caused by a brush fire. So that's unfortunate for that, and hoping that fire season isn't too bad down in California. Keeping with California-related news in the MLS, on the 25th, it was announced that LAFC has signed Gareth Bale. That is a relatively big deal. Bale is set to become a free agent after his contract with Real Madrid ends this month, and it adds more to LAFC. LAFC has also signed Chiellini to a deal to join them. So it's a lot of talent for LAFC that already had a lot of talent. Carlos Vela, I believe, re-signed as well. So they're keeping someone that won an MVP a few years ago. Gareth Bale has incredible talent. If you know soccer at the international stage, across the pond stage, you know how good Gareth Bale is. I get that he's not in his prime, but this is still an incredible addition for LAFC. And considering that they're in the Western Conference, it's something to keep an eye on for our Sounders. So with that being said, we look ahead for their next few matches. at a 7-win, 6-loss, 2-draw record. They are 7th in the Western Conference. They played June 29th versus Montreal at a 7 o'clock start. Montreal is a good club. I believe they're in playoff position in the Eastern Conference. And then heading up to Toronto on the 2nd of July to play Toronto FC with a 4:30 start to play the club that you face in 2 MLS Cups. It's an important week to play a couple Canadian teams, as well as to continue things going into this summer when Seattle typically finds their form. We head over to Kraken-related news, and there's nothing actual Kraken-related. We're just league news again for Seattle as we continue the draft. It kind of seems like it's going to be that way until we get to next week when we'll talk about our potential picks at the number 4 spot for Seattle in the NHL entry draft. So, in league-related news, Hockey Canada's funding has been frozen. The Canadian government has taken this step until the organization better equips itself to handle sexual assault and abuse allegations. Also on the 22nd, the Dallas Stars hired DeBoer. The Stars named Peter DeBoer as their new head coach, spending his past 3 seasons with the Las Vegas Golden Knights, as well as taking the New Jersey Devils and San Jose Sharks to the Stanley Cup final. So I think we talked about it a few weeks ago, but the NHL continues to be a musical chairs game of head coaching jobs. They just keep going in a loop. On the 23rd, the Florida Panthers hired Morris. The Panthers named Paul Morris as their new head coach, spending 9 seasons with the Jets, having the 7th most wins in NHL history. On the 24th, Chicago is looking to hire Luke Richardson. Richardson is reportedly expected to join Chicago and become their new head coach, having spent the last 4 seasons with the Montreal Canadiens as an assistant. And then I know I just talked about the sort of coaching musical chairs, but Barry Trotz will not be a part of that. Trotz is taking some time off. The recently fired Islanders head coach is reportedly passing on the Winnipeg Jets head coaching gig in order to spend more time with his family. So best of luck to Trotz in, I guess, his sort of brief retirement for the moment. So with that being said, again, we do not have anything Kraken related, but things are coming up for Seattle. So expect to see it in the next episode that we see you as the NHL draft. The first round of it starts on July 7th. The rest of it takes place on July 8th. And then things start to ramp up when free agency begins on July 13th.